So we're going to quickly cover current versus future optometry landscape so that you have an awareness of what's happening versus what should be happening. Identifying the specialty contact lens opportunity that exists in the marketplace. Looking at important matters to consider when it comes to specialty contact lens practice. We're going to look at the competency, skills, capacity that you need to have and be aware of as you go into the marketplace very soon, and how to go about building a patient database, because you can't have an offering but you don't have a patient database, and that's where the growth opportunity lies. And we're then going to look at, finally, the different sales and marketing activities that go hand to hand with the skills capacity that you need to have in your practice. All right, current landscape in optometry right now. Funny enough, I stand to be corrected, but Mr. Carroll will assist me in the numbers there, but there's around 3,400 optometry practices in South Africa. Somewhere there, I think 3,400, 3,300 optometry practices. And very few of those practices across the country specialize in specialty services. So not only restricted to contact lenses, but also whether you're looking at low vision, presbyopia, very few practices are actually focused on specialty eye care. Who here has ever heard of a patient that purchased a sterile lens online? That doesn't happen, right? You're not going to go online and look at where can you shop for a keratocontic lens. That doesn't happen. But guess what people are going to shop online? They're going to shop for spectacles. It's going to be cheaper for a person to get spectacles online than look to even be bothered about researching contact lens specialty contact lenses online. So the growth opportunity of optometry as a whole lies in the fact that we have to then, all of us, when we go into practice, focus on specialty eye care and forget about just doing the basic general optometry services that has been sort of like been the focus of the industry for a very long time. Personalized eye care services. So patients have an awareness now of where optometry falls within the healthcare space. So I have this notion that, or what I've seen in the industry, when you look for a physiotherapist, you're not looking for the cheapest physiotherapist, right? You're looking for the one with the most experience that specializes in that which you have a problem with. But when it comes to optometry, with general optometry, people end up looking at who will offer the most cost-effective solutions or services. But when it comes to specialty services, no one looks for the cheapest. Everyone is going to look for the most competent. And that's where the growth opportunity of someone who's involved in specialty contact lenses will then have the opportunity, as compared to someone who is just doing general optometry. A patient, from a patient's perspective, I'm just going to look at who is the cheapest or that I can be able to get my glasses for. But with specialty contact lenses, it's going to be about who is the most competent and has got the experience to be able to solve my problem. So two areas that are growing, especially now in the last 5 years, the practices that are thriving, that are seeing double-digit growth in their sales, are practices that are offering specialty services, specifically also, or more so than others, specialty contact lenses. So when you go to the marketplace, and you're going to just be working in a practice that has got no interest whatsoever in specialty contact lenses, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. Why? 3-4 years down the line, you'll be saying to yourself, optometry is not for me. Why? You're missing out on all the opportunities that lie within the industry as a result of specialty contact lenses. Consumer preferences are evolving, and you'll see now in the next few slides what we mean by that. So as the consumer preferences are evolving, our offering as optometrists has to evolve and be at that point at which optometrists have patients have an awareness that, oh, when I go to the optometrist, it's not just about getting glasses or contact lenses. There's so much more, and that so much more lies in what? Specialty contact lenses. So keep that at the back of your mind when you are about to finish optometry school at the end of this year or end of next year, that start positioning yourself in a manner in which, what do I now as a student have to do to be able to make sure that I have exposed myself enough to specialty contact lenses? So if you're not in practice right now, that you on weekends, holidays, where you are working as a student in practices that are doing specialty contact lenses or specialty services as a result, and you're only waiting to be exposed for when you're going to get an opportunity to work when you qualified, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So when you go out of your way right now to find those practices, whether they're here in Bloemfontein or outside of Bloemfontein, the time you qualify, your experience and your capacity would be at a far greater advantage than someone who just waited to qualify and only did what was required by the university. So the time you then look for work, what the type of work opportunities that you'll be attracting will be far more different than someone who does not have the skills to be able to become a specialty contact lens practitioner. So think about that. So general eye care services are declining, and public perception of optometry is on the decline for general optometry. Right. So, so how do you identify the specialty lens opportunity in your community or practice? All right. Go back there. In a lot of the pictures, this lady in the middle there, this lady, I met her here 20 years ago. So that's my wife. Yeah. Sorry for the side note there. But that's my beautiful wife. She was going for her eye care examination. So what, but anyone from the audience, which patients, just 5 examples, would be suitable for specialty contact lenses? Anyone? 5 examples. What type of patients? Yes, sir. Keratoconus. Anyone? And 5 is not even the, yes, sir? Nice. So let me give you a list of them. So that's very, very good, right? Patients that have issues with dry eye and your traditional contact lens options or spectacles are not suitable to help the problem. Patients that have come from post-surgery and glasses or normal contact lenses are not suitable for them. Specialty contact lenses present an opportunity. Patients that have high astigmatism, irregular corneas, all those different types of patients are suitable for specialty contact lenses. Patients that have occupational or recreational needs, whereby athletes, for example, where they need materials on their eye that will be more suitable for the type of physical activity that they have as a result of being an athlete. Patients who are presbyopic and don't want your traditional contact lenses or glasses. Patients who have got cosmetic concerns or needs where they feel that I don't want to wear glasses. So there's the list of patients that are actually suitable for specialty contact lenses is actually a lot. Where we miss the opportunity is that patients walk into the optometrist and the first thing that they say is, hi, how much does it cost to have my eyes examined? And what is the golden rule that we all do? Is it cash or medical aid? The worst response that you get from those 3,400 optometry practices that I mentioned, probably 400 of them are the only ones that will not give that response as, is it cash or medical aid? So please, I beg you, if there's only one thing that I ever ask of you today, is don't ever, ever say, is it cash or medical aid? Because you will never go to any other healthcare professional and you'll hear them say, is it cash or medical aid? They sell you on the professional services that they do, not whether you're going to be paying for them cash or medical aid. So please remember that, because when it comes to specialty contact lenses, you'll be missing the opportunity if you put patients in a corner as to is it cash or medical aid. And you'll see now that specialty contact lenses, it opens your world to a whole different type of patient profile that your practice would be able to do so much more as a result of you taking that approach. So individualized patient care is more important later on, you might ask me, so if we're not going to say cash and medical aid, what do we say? You can keep that at the back of your mind. So individualized patient care, it's all about when the person then comes into your examination room and you're doing the case history. I don't know what happens now, but it was drilled in us when we were students that the most important aspect of what we do as optometrists is actually the case history. And the case history, by the way, has got absolutely nothing to do with what's wrong with a person's eyes. The case history has everything to do with you exploring everything that's wrong with the person's eyes. Then, whilst you're doing the case history, discussing the long list of options that are suitable or available for that patient. So for me, if a patient says, oh, I've been wearing glasses for X amount of time, or I've been having experience with contact lenses for X amount of time, I'm not going to continue just doing a normal eye examination and waiting at the end to discuss those options with them. I'm going to already tell them right there and then that, okay, you are having a problem with your contact lenses right now as a result of this, this, and this, and this. Are you aware that there are other options available when it comes to specialty contact lenses that will do the following, this, 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 and this? If that's not a tactic that will be suitable for you, there are other tactics that are available where perhaps what you're experiencing for and the fallout that you've had with your contact lenses was the issue of dry eye. So traditional contact lenses will not be suitable for you. So we will look at the specialty contact lens, and the specialty journey is different from your normal general eye care journey. You might need more visits, more appointments, so that we can get to the bottom of what's going on. So you see what I mean? It's not just a one-size-fits approach to everyone. You have to make sure that when you're doing case history, each patient, you are presenting them with all available options available, so that you don't put them in a corner where the only solution that they think is going to be available for them is a pair of glasses. So you want to be in a position where when you're going to be doing specialty contact lenses, your focus and your approach with all your patients is that you are exploring all best suitable options available for that patient. And if specialty contact lenses from your case history taking is the one that will be deemed to be the most suitable, don't undersell it, oversell it, so that you can get the buy-in of the practice, of the patient. With specialty contact lenses, what I've picked up, when patients are convinced about their problem, and they trust you, the person, like I put, their trust is the difference maker, and they are fully convinced that that which you have informed them and educated them about regarding their contact, the eye care journey, when you then discuss management options with them, it will never have to do with whether it's a medical aid or a cash option, because their awareness of what they're going through is much more than the affordability of the solution. So if a person is fully convinced that that's what you say is wrong with them is actually what's wrong with them, and they trust you, and you have shown the necessary competency skills that are required for them to gain that trust with you. If you say to that person, you're going to need specialty contact lenses, this is the amount of times we're going to see you, this is how often you're going to have to get your eyes examined, this is the maintenance of those lenses, this is how you take care of them, and this is what we do, they're never going to ask you, so how much is that going to cost? Because the solution outweighs the affordability. And those are the best person that when they go out and say and talk about your practice, you stand a better chance from getting more patient referrals from that type of person whom you have changed their life, as compared to a person that's wearing glasses and they can get glasses online. But with specialty contact lenses, it's a completely different story. So keep that at the back of your mind. Let me go a bit quicker. So important matters to consider when it comes to establishing a specialty contact lens practice. Market research. Investigate. Look at, in your community where your practice is going to be located, or in the community where you are working, how many practices are offering specialty contact lenses? And if there isn't any, or there's one or two, you then have to align your practice in relation to that offering that you're going to be doing. So the quickest thing that you can do is right now, as a student, get as much information as you possibly can, And here's a quick tip. You guys are generation, this generation thinks, but you're born in the year 2000, 2001, somewhere there. Yeah, that's So I'm thinking, all of you right now, if I go online, I should see a website of each and every single person in this room. There should be a website of you as a student that pops up because of all the things that you are learning from university as a student. So throw that, all the stuff that you're learning, this, imagine on your CV. What's your name, sir? Temba. Imagine on your CV when someone looks at you when you're going to apply for a work and they see that you have done a contact lens workshop that involved all the topics that you are being shared with you for the next 3 days, including yesterday. And then you did this, and your CV showcases the practices in your holidays that you have worked in that are recognized in the industry. And you know, don't go to the practice asking for a job. Go to the practice asking to be exposed to what they do. So if I was you, I would Google top specialty contact lens practices in my area or where I come from. And then when I go back home, I'm gonna go and spend the whole day in that practice and being exposed myself to the contact lens specialty. Then I go to the next one, then I go to the next one. The time you leave, when you apply for work, you know what is going to, you're going to first be overpaid simply by going there and saying, this is my capacity. I hope that everyone takes that. And by the end of the year, you will all have websites. Location. Location is about being easily accessible to patients. So you can't have a contact lens specialty practice if you're not going to be accessible to complementary services. So you can't be in the middle of nowhere, but there's no ophthalmologist, there's no other healthcare providers within a close proximity. Why? That's how you build your referral system, because you're going to grow the specialty practice by the increasing number of referrals that you are getting from other healthcare providers. And guess who's going to send you the most amount of referrals? Other optometrists. I worked in a practice in Joburg CBD. At the time, no other practice there had an OCT. So we put an OCT in our practice. We had three or four patients come in. We took videos of them and we sent that video of the offering that we were doing to all the practices in the area. That was the quickest solution for us to get referrals. Because why? Optometrists in that area, the patients used to complain that it's more expensive for them to send their patients to the ophthalmologist for a consultation than to them sending that patient to us for a simple thing like an OCT. When the patients come to the practice for an OCT, they get to realize that we open their world to, there's the diagnostic set that they see. There's the TV that we put up with a video of what we offer at the practice. A simple solution like that, patients, oh, I was not aware that these things exist in eye care or in other practices. So we then got to attract patients that all the other practices would focus on general optometry. We saw less patients, but we did more numbers, simply because the type of patient profile that came to us were not looking for the most cost-effective solutions. They needed their lives to be changed because they were incapacitated because their vision was not where they were supposed to be. So my first scleral lens patient, for example, was a 61-year-old patient with diabetes, and she had tried everything, and her vision was not winning. And that lady, she had the patience, and her family had the patience for me to make her my guinea pig. After about 5 visits, remember Prof failed me in my 3rd year, right? So it took me a bit longer than normal to get diagnosed things. So after about 5 visits of this lady keep on coming back, when we got it right, and the perfect contact lenses was on her eyes, and she was able to see what she had not been able to see for 10 years prior, the cries and the referrals that come out there, nothing beats that. So specialty contact lenses, every patient that you see, it feels as if you're changing their life. It's not just, let me quickly see this patient, autorefractor, get the RX, get the slit lamp, order glasses, and then they come back after 4 years because the economy is tight. With specialty contact lenses, that thing does not exist. There's no such a thing as a tight economy because you are solving something that has got nothing to do with the economy. Remember that. So Equipment and resources that you need. Lisa Marie, you must tell me about the time. Eh? I don't have a timer. I talk too much, so you must remind me. Equipment and resources that you need. Your team. Make sure when you're building a specialty contact lens practice, there's alignment between what happens in the exam room and what happens out of the exam room. So your team needs to be trained. The most irresponsible thing that you can do is be an optometrist, run a practice, but you have not even sent, and this is not even for specialty contact lenses, this is for even general eye care. I get shocked when you ask a staff member, so how many years have you been working in this practice? And then they say to you, I've been here for the last 15 years. Okay, have you been to Genop? No, where's Genop? Have you been to this contact lens company, that frame company? And they haven't. I get shocked. How can you be in an industry, but you have never even been to a lab? So you are constantly prescribing products that you actually have got no awareness of the process that's involved. So make sure that, and ophthalmologists are very good at this. Ophthalmologists will have assistants that are trained as ophthalmic assistants. Whereas with optometrists, we actually cut corners. So please, second thing that I want you to remember, don't cut corners. Make sure that the level of competency skills that you have as an optometrist, your team matches that in relation to their competency skills. Why? When a patient comes there and you are in Mauritius for holiday and you never booked a locum, oh, by the way, a nice thing that you must remember, practices that specialize in specialty contact lenses, they don't have to worry about locums. Their diary is booked out 4 months in advance because patients they can only be seen by that doctor or that optometrist. There's no need for a locum. Patients will wait for you while you're in Mauritius on holiday. Simple as that. So when they are away and a new patient walks into the practice and they're asking about wanting to make an appointment, your staff member is not busy chasing patients away like general optometric practices because they always, I want to make an appointment. Oh, the optometrist is not here. Oh, is it cash or medical aid? With specialty contact lens options or specialty practices, the patients that will be coming and knocking on your door already know, because of all the marketing that you've done and all of that, that this practice specializes in these specialty services. So you attract a different patient profile. So you'll be able to see less patients, make more while you are in holiday, and have people that will be in your practice, your team, that will be competent enough in terms of how they communicate with patients, what they share with patients, the knowledge that they have, the skills that they have, to be able to assist patients. So you don't even have to do that with specialty stuff, by the way. Even if you're not going to do specialty contact lenses, make sure that the competency levels of your staff match. Let me go quickly. Marketing and tactics, networking and practice positioning. I gave you an example of with the OCT practice. So what would you have to do to attract or take advantage of the opportunities outlined? These 10 images here are the 10 things that, by all means, please don't leave this university without being fully competent that you can do all of them. I beg you. This is the third thing. Now, if you've just taken notes, I only gave you, this is the third thing that I'm saying you must take a note on. Please don't leave this university without being fully convinced that you've got the capacity to do all of these things. So, if you currently are not fully competent, where you feel like, you know what, if I had to graduate tomorrow and I'm not in the capacity to do this, confidently, comfortably, with ease, prioritize that for the remainder of the year. It will set you apart. So if your website, remember I said you must have a website. If on your website I Google you, what was your name again? Vian Rickers, right? Vian and Rickers, if I Google you at Temba, the ladies are going to start thinking I'm discriminating. What's your name, man? Colin. Let's use the example. If I Google Colin, young dynamic optometrist, and what I see on your profile is a picture of you interpreting corneal topography to a patient. Already, I don't have to read where you graduated from. I don't have to read anything else. Just me seeing a picture of you interpreting corneal topography results to a patient is going to give me the confidence that this one is not your normal optometrist young optometrist that just qualified, she's doing a bit more than the normal. You understand? So think long term. Don't just think here. Specialty lens fitting techniques. Be exposed to as much of that as possible. Don't rely to just the requirement that the university has prescribed for you. Go out of your way to be able to do that. Patient assessment and selection. You need to be able to know the process of customizing and modernizing and modifying the specialty lens results that you're seeing. Being able to communicate and educate patients. The troubleshooting options that you need to be aware. So you have to have an awareness that, okay, remember with my diabetic patient, it took us 5 visits. So those visits, you need to, you might not get it right on first attempt. You're still young, you're still inexperienced, you're still having someone to hold your hand. So you need to have an awareness that, okay, if this option or this route of solving this patient's problem does not work, the other option is this one. If this one does not work, the other option is that one. So you have to have an awareness that this type of problem, these are the possible solutions. And by the way, ophthalmologists, they love young people who are committed to learning. If you are making those mistakes, but you showcase to your ophthalmologist or senior other optometrists your thought process in solving problems, it sets you apart. They actually get confidence. I remember when we used to send WhatsApp pictures, when WhatsApp was now getting into the mix of things. I would go to the OCT, take a picture of what I'm seeing, make up some form of assumption of what I'm seeing and what I think it is, send it to the ophthalmologist and explain, I'm thinking this, however, I'm not sure of this, I'm not sure of this. Not just referring a patient, but you're not giving as much detail as you possibly can. And in me sending information to the ophthalmologist, I was never diagnosing a patient. I was just showing him, I did this, looking for this. I did this, looking for this. I spotted this, I spotted this, I spotted this. However, I'm not certain if that is the case. So would you please look for this? And if there's anything else that I would have missed, please look back at that. No ophthalmologist is going to take you as if you're incompetent. They're actually going to respect you, that you did the thorough process, but you were just not sure, and you said to the patient, utilize the technology, guys. There's multiple companies that do equipment. When the time you leave, or as soon as possible, go Google. Even if you don't have access to go into these labs, Google what different technology equipment is out there in the market. Your other video temper, you must have the video where you are now playing around with other equipment. The equipment that you have in the university is not the only one that's available in the market. So be competent in the one that you are using in the university, but be exposed to the ones that are out there. Make sense? Collaboration and referral programs. So that's one of my mentors. He is the person that, outside of, remember I did not like the lectures at the university. I did not like them. I only liked them after I qualified. Whilst I was here, they failed me. The contact lens lectures, all of them, including Prof. Asingani. So I did not like them, right? So it was a fascinating process. So now, years later, when I start building a network of professionals who have been in the industry for a while, Hilton is the name here, he was now saying things that the people that I did not like used to say to me, and then it connected the dots. So make sure that you have a support system. Very, very important, a support system. You will never find, this is the perfect example actually. The optometry groups, WhatsApp groups, I have to tell you this. The optometry groups in the marketplace, the optometrists that specialize in general optometry, on their WhatsApp group chats, guess what they're talking about? They're complaining about medical aids, they're complaining about network providers, they're complaining about buy one, get one free, they're complaining about everything under the sun. Is anyone going to do something about it? Absolutely not. Guess what they're talking about on the other WhatsApp groups where everyone on the WhatsApp group does specialty contact lenses? They're sharing complex cases, they're talking about patients with interesting cases, they're building knowledge, skills capacity, empowering themselves on the WhatsApp chats as compared to the other groups. And guess what's happening? The one has 30 people on it for the whole country in most cases. Whereas the general ones, there'll be like 400 people on this one, 500 people on that one. So you're going to choose. You're either going to be on this side of the fence or on the other side of the fence. Specialty contact lenses gives you access to a whole world of optometry where you're going to enjoy optometry like nothing else you've ever experienced before. Continuous training and education, and I plead with you, personalize the care that you give to every single patient that walks into your optometry practice. No one should ever leave your practice without the full knowledge of what's going on with them, the full confidence that you are the best suitable person to help them on their eye care journey. And most importantly, that they should never treat their eyes or their vision as by the way. If that's all you do in the examination room, you won that patient over. That patient is going to leave there feeling like, wow, I've never experienced that before. Even if the prescription is wrong. But the fact that you went through that process, they will still have the confidence that even if the prescription is wrong and they're not happy with what you have prescribed to them, they will come back and they will know and have the confidence that you will still be the same person that will go out of their way, of your way to solve that. Think about it. Okay, I'm quickly rushing through this. All right, so, let me not confuse you there. All right, so that question I asked earlier on in terms of the type of patients that will fall under these different type of scenarios or situations. So all of this, you have to unpack it in terms of, I think we mentioned all of this before, so it's fine. All right, so marketing approaches to consider when it comes to specialty contact lenses. You have to have a strong online presence. If you Google right now, optometry services, optometry practices in my area, majority of optometry practices look the same online. But it's very frustrating to me. If you're going to be involved in specialty contact lenses, all those tips on the videos and all those things that I discussed with you earlier on, make sure that your website is a reflection of your offering. Don't confuse patients. What patients see online and what they're going to experience when they get to your practice should even be better. So online, you should present that which is going to attract them, right? But when they come to your practice, it should be even wow. Wow. It's like, I come from a generation, there were still telco booths at the university here. I was still using a card to phone my then girlfriend, right? But now you guys do online dating. So with online dating, the problem is that you look at a person's profile and then when you meet them in person, he's not what you thought they are online. Don't confuse patients when it comes to eye care. Make sure that what they Google and research on you and what they're going to experience ties in. They should be like, wow, you're actually underselling yourself online. So showcase that which you are able to do. Have a strong content development. So the nice thing about what you're going to have to do as a marketing activity, for example, what the practice does, especially you'll never find an optometrist online talking about general optometry. What nonsense is that? But what are you going to find online? You're going to find an optometrist who specializes in specialty stuff, like contact lenses, educating patients all the time. Educating patients all the time about the different stuff that they need to be aware of regarding their eyes. Then the practice website takes on a different approach than the individual optometrist approach. So Temba, you need two now. You need two. You need your own personal website and then the practice website now. And your own personal website, even if it's just a YouTube channel. Then the referral programs and collaborations, community and industry engagement. This, never stop doing this. You see this, it's going to cost you He stepped out now. Carol stepped out. But it's good. Every year, budget a good 10 to 15,000 rands that you're going to allocate towards continuous education and development in the first 5 years of your professional career. The sooner you do it, then your budget increases to at least 50,000 rands a year for educational development and training, where you're now going to overseas conferences and workshops and stuff like that. The more capacity you build for your practice or for yourself, the more capacity you build for your optometric practice. You will have patients flying from Botswana coming to your practice. You'll have patients who fly from different parts of the country or the world to come to you because you are offering something that they can't get anywhere else. No one is going to fly from Durban to Johannesburg for a -250 on a Gucci frame. No, it's not going to happen. No one is going to do that. You can do that online. You can't do that with specialty contact lenses online. So the choice is yours. So get involved, educate. If you're going to go on radio, it's free of charge. Go on radio, have a slot where for 1 month, Eye Care Awareness Month, you make sure you're on different radio stations and you're talking about specialty contact lenses. Funny enough, I stopped practicing. I did a radio interview on Lesedi FM for 1 month. My goodness, I was so tempted. I was itching to go back into optometry practice because of the amount of people that were reaching out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram. That's a hint. It's not connecting now. Like they were reaching me. Can I please? Where are you? Where's your practice located? Where is your practice? What are you doing? Like, where are you located? How much? Because I went on radio and I just told them about things that they need to be aware of on their eyes. Simple as that. So those general optometrists, patient comes in, autorefractor, filling in medical aid details, going to the examination room for Opta, you come out, glasses, and then you see them after 4 years. No, guys, that's not what I failed for. Come on. I never failed for that. Honestly, I never failed for that. Eh? And our books are the most expensive. Books. Everything is expensive here. So for me, I want to take that patient on a journey that they have never experienced before. So you have to see yourself, your practice, as part of the community in that space. And I'm telling you, elevate everything that you do. And then targeted advertising. Being able to do specialty contact lenses will I do now. I expanded, I need help. I don't know, I maximize this thing. What do I press here? Is
there a mouse with holding control and then
All right, so let's wrap this up. Sales activities. The perceived value that is existing in optometry. Those general optometrists, they've spoiled it for us, eh? We can all agree now. Based on what I've shared with you, they've spoiled it for us. Your generation are going to change that. Are we all in agreement? That buy one, get one free. You'll never see a specialty practice offering buy one scleral lens, get another one for free. You don't have to advertise things like that because patients are fully convinced. So the perceived value in the industry right now, or in the marketplace, we are hawkers. I get my script from you, and I go and how much do you guys charge for an eye exam? And I go to the next practice. Okay, I've got a script here. How much is this? How much? No scleral lens patient or specialty contact lens patient is going to have a script in their hand, looking for the best specialty lens practitioner in the area who will give them a cheaper option. There is no such a thing. So we have to change the perceived value. So create an experience for the patient. Create that wow factor. You create that wow factor when the patient walks in and you educate them about what's going on with their eyes. How much does it cost in an examination? Well, firstly, the examination procedure is as follows. This. the optometrist is going to do the following, and we're going to look at the following. That whole process ranges from this to this, because I cannot, the consultation is going to depend on everything that the optometrist is going to pick up in the consultation. There could be a problem with your ocular health or your corneal health. There could be an issue with dry eyes, for example. So we might end up having to do dry eye assessments. So the initial baseline examination is going to cost 650 rands. But from there on, it's going to depend on various diagnostic procedures that the optometrist does, and also that initial baseline optometry eye examination is 650 because it includes the following. We do this. That patient is going to stand there, wait, look at you, and hear of things that they've never seen before. And guess when you're doing that, you take them into the diagnostic room. Those 3,400 optometry practices, a lot of them don't have separate diagnostic rooms. So when I'm in a specialty contact lens practice, and I've got a diagnostic room in the practice, guess where my staff members are trained to answer that, how much does it cost to do an eye examination process? Seeing is believing. So I'm going to take, my staff member will take them into the diagnostic room and explain to them, the eye exam costs this much. Already, there is no autorefractor in that room. Because it's not, most patients only know of an autorefractor. So, specialty contact lenses opens your world to a whole different ballgame. Communicate with patients at the level of understanding. Connect with them at a deep level. Very, very connect with them. You can connect with them when you are finding a quick win. A quick win is to educate, showcase your capacity, establish trust. Then they relax, they're confident. Wow, these guys are so knowledgeable. And if all of this is just the staff member who's telling me this, I can't wait to meet the optometrist. If this is how the staff member has responded, I can't wait to meet the optometrist, because clearly the optometrist must be on a whole other level. Then when they see the optometrist or they meet the optometrist, you then take it to a whole other level. You're doing eye examination procedures this patient has never heard of, and they've been wearing glasses for 30 years. Simply because now you're specializing in the specialty contact lens arena. Then you convert them now. They are patients for life. So in everything that you do, excellence should be the only standard that you operate with. With your quick one, side note, when my mom needed an eye examination, I booked where Lisa Marie, when she was still in practice, booked the appointment there. I asked if I can go in with my mom. I knew that at Mellon's at the only time, no one knew me at that particular branch. So I asked to go in. I sat in there. She did such a thorough job. She educated my mom. My mom felt guilty that she has, remember, patients of optometrists behave the same way as optometrists. I mean, family members of optometrists behave the same way as optometrists. None of us want to wear glasses, but we are in the eye industry, right? So our family members, they will only do eye exams if it's free of charge. So this time I said, okay, I'll go and pay for the examination, and I did not want it to be seen by someone that I know, or even myself. So we went to the practice. Lisa Marie was the optometrist at the time. She did such a thorough job. My mom felt guilty for not always listening to me all the other years when I kept on saying to her, you need to go for an eye examination. How does this look? It's looking bad on me that my own mother does not want to trust me. So that thorough job, and she was so thorough and excellent in what she does, it converted my mom. Not because of, my mom does not even know what's wrong with her eyes. It was purely based on the thoroughness of what Lisa Marie was doing. She only discovered afterwards that I'm an optometrist. So, and then exceeding expectations, always educate patients. Even if it's a 050 script that you have in general, let's go back to those guys that I don't like. I must edit that part. But the general optometry, I don't like that. It's diminishing our industry. We need to do more. Our patients deserve more. Even if you're going to prescribe an 050, that patient needs to believe that that 050 is life-changing. That's just me. Education is key. Our patients are the way they are because we did not educate them well enough, and because we're not doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. empathize with people. That's the beauty of specialty contact lenses. It means every single patient is a life-changing experience for them. So you constantly doing or showing empathy, a sense of understanding of what they're going through. People look at value, what they will gain when they go with what you recommend versus what they will lose if they don't go with it. And the beauty about specialty contact lenses, it's always about the value. You don't even have to do much because people have a deep understanding of the value that they're getting. And then engage them across different platforms and give people an experience that they have never had before. All right, so lastly, all these other things, iAfrica Media, all of these, I'll tell you guys about it tomorrow. So, communication tactics, I think this is the last slide. Have a consultative selling approach. We're not running an NGO here as specialty contact lens practitioners. As much as we are going to be empathetic and help people see better, at the end of the day, you need the buy-in of the patient. So the patient needs to be fully convinced that that eye care journey that you are now taking them on and what it's going to cost is the only viable and suitable solution for them, nothing else. You set for life, and you do that with every single patient. You can only do that if you make them part of the decision-making process that you're going through. Product demonstration. You have to have the tools. You have to have the products readily available. With normal contact lenses, right? I was a firm believer. Oh no, let me say, I have to fix what I said earlier on with general optometry. When I come back now in the general optometry, my way of doing things, we discuss the eye problem. When we go select eyewear, we will do it we don't do it at the end all the time. Especially if I wanted patients to have contact lenses and glasses, I would put on the contact lens on their eye. Because in the practice that I was working in, we don't say the eye exam is 400 or 300, whatever the case may be. It's ranging from this to this. So and we didn't book patients every 30 minutes. We booked patients spread out enough so that if in the examination room you want to take the route of dry eye assessments, contact lens assessments, we can do the initial startup of that within that first visit so that you get the patient right there, especially patients that have had previous history of challenges with eye care practitioners or are coming for the very first time. So what we'll do, we fully convinced that we're going for glasses, bam, put the contact lens in the eye, even if they are not interested in contact lenses. If you've got the trial lens in your room, put it on your eye, go select the eyewear, all of a sudden, they discover again that, hey, this contact lens thing is working actually. Show them how it works, how to maintain it, and you do that. So I used to do that with general optometry. They're going to leave there with 2 pairs of glasses, optical. They're going to leave there with daily contact lenses. Then they're going to leave with a pair of sunglasses. And back then, prescription sunglasses. And back then, practices used to keep eye drops in the practice. If they need eye drops, they're going to leave with eye drops. That was just what we used to do back then. That was the ideal management solution. So now, with specialty contact lenses, product demonstration, it's very, very key. Have videos, have all of those type of things that demonstrate. Personalized fitting approach, be patient and be kind to yourself because you're not always going to get it right, especially in the beginning. Have support, have people that can hold your hand, and make sure that you educate patients well enough in the beginning to say that different cases have a different protocol that we follow. And sometimes it's not always the case that you get it right on first attempt. So if you have the conversation in the beginning, it makes it easier then if there's going to be 2 or 3 visits that the patient is fully aware at the same time. No child goes to a therapist, visual therapist, and any parent expecting that there's only going to be 1 visit, right? You know that this child is going to have multiple visits. So same thing applies with specialty contact lenses, especially in the beginning. It's not just going to be you get it right on the first attempt. The more you do it, the more confidence you're going to get. It's going to be much easier for you when you get confidence because why? You're going to pick up patterns, behaviors, norms that are coming from similar cases on different scenarios. And by the way, even if you are in general optometry, it's never too late. It's never too late. I started much later when I started focusing on specialty eye care. I think I was already 10 years into the industry where I realized that, wait a minute, I need to evolve. I need to challenge myself. I need to increase my capacity. And it takes a while. The first year, you have this equipment that you have purchased from these companies. It's expensive. You have increased your consultation fee. And you're like, one patient in a whole month. And you do all this marketing activities. So it's not going to happen overnight. But then all of a sudden, months later, that lady who was now happy referred 2 people. Then next, those 2 people refer 4 people. And it builds up. By year 2, boom, you now have to get a secondary optometrist in your practice. Because why? You are now dealing with the specialty contact lenses, and the other person is dealing with the general optometry services. Boom, if that's not the option that you take, and you're just the only optometrist in your practice, then boom, you then start seeing specialty cases all the time, or the majority of the time. You charge you more, you're seeing less patients, but you're adding so much value to that few patients. Boom, Mauritius. This whole thing of Mauritius, I'm speaking English, it's coming, it's going to happen this year, in Jesus' name, amen. And value-driven services. So always, would you accept the service that you would be rendering? That's the quickest way to determine value. If that which you are busy doing right now, if someone had to do it exactly the way you are doing it, would you pay a premium for it? If the answer is no, stop it. If the answer is yes, run with it. So that's how you would approach the growth opportunity for building a specialty contact lens practice, is that it's always about the value. And that value will involve the processes, the protocols, the procedures that you do from the minute the patient makes contact with the practice to the time that they leave. That's your approach. And that should not even be about specialty contact lenses. Life in general, that should be your approach. Have that approach of, as an optometrist, I'm going to be thriving and building everything that I do on value. People are going to get so much value in here that you should get to a point where you don't compare your business with other optometry practices. You compare your business with other businesses in the area, where the value that you get from, that people get from your practice should be so high that people have to compare it with other businesses. That, you know what, I never want to accept anywhere where I go and they're not giving me this type of service, this type of experience. Whether it's at a restaurant, a filling station, and if I don't get this type of service that I got from that optometrist, I'm going to tell these people that, hey, this is not what you should do. This is the standard that you should be operating on. And all of a sudden, things change in what you attract towards your practice. Oh, ooh, this one I love it. Follow-up approaches. The relationships that you get to build and establish with people that are needing specialty services from you, it's out of this world. When you start off, check in with those patients, check in with their family members. Remember, the type of patient profile are people that would have struggled with your traditional management solutions. So with specialty contact lenses, you are helping people that don't fit the normal scenario. So follow-up is even more important in this case than in other cases. So follow-up is going to be very, very key, because you want to check in with those patients 3 months later, 6 months later. We can always, later on, we can always provide you with a follow-up when you're in practice, a follow-up regimen for the different scenarios when it comes to specialty contact lenses. It's very, very important. And yeah, I think that was me. This is just some images of stuff that we do in the industry. Yeah, that's some stuff that I think I've done. And please do connect with us online. I would love to have long-lasting relationships with you all. It will mean the world to me. That's my business profile there. My personal one. And Lisa Marie will share the presentation with everyone. And I've got other platforms. iAfrica Media, do connect with us there. And Activate is my other platform. And amen. Any questions? How, guys, was I that boring? No. I hope you took those 3 things that I asked you to take down as notes over and above the other notes that you took. Any questions? Has to be at least one. Even if you ask me how long I've been married, it's fine.
Sorry, Sam. Don't you think the optometry should be restructured in terms of the undergrad, and then we have specialties?
Elaborate.
Okay. If maybe the optometry can be 5 years,
Yeah.
and then after 5 years there are specialties from low vision, binocular vision, contact lenses. So after you graduate, you specialize more on those.
No one is stopping you to doing that. So it should not be the onus of the industry to say that should be the case. It should be, the onus should be on us who are already practicing to say, I want to go do more. There's nothing that's stopping anyone from wanting to go further in something. The challenge is that we don't want to sacrifice long enough. We don't want to spend the necessary money. And we want to eat now. That's our challenge. We want to eat now. We want the small one now. So it takes the selling glasses off the shelf. It's a quick win. So patients are preferring that. I mean, practitioners go for the easy route. So yes, optometry can be restructured and all of that, but our problem is deeply rooted in how we see ourselves. The mere fact, I have got a back problem, I see physiotherapists, for example. I've never come across a physiotherapist who then has this thing of, this one charges this much, that one charges. It's as if they've got a baseline agreement that we don't go lower than 650, irrespective of the skills capacity. So the baseline for other healthcare disciplines, it's much higher than the baseline for our industry. So when I was doing therapy for my back and seeing biokinesthetics and the chiropractitioners, their baseline is 650 going up. Then those that specialize in certain areas, their baseline is much higher than others. So right now, we don't have a baseline. So even if we increase it, the challenge is the baseline of our industry. That we are ranging from 99 rands to 1,500 or 2,500. So the problem is the baseline. And we can't justify, there isn't a standard. So you will not go to a physiotherapist and all they have in their home is this chair. And that's it. Whereas with us, you go to an optometrist and they don't have the baseline equipment. Let's start there. So now, how are you going to justify that this one is 1,500? So we don't have the same baseline. That's my issue with everything. That we have to have a set baseline. Everyone agrees that you cannot run a practice if you don't have this baseline. And if you can get the baseline right for everyone, that then is the starting point for industry. But now we have to change it backwards. None of you here should go into the industry and accept basic general eye care that you're going to be doing. All of you should leave here and say, okay, I'm going to go low vision, pediatrics, specialty contact lenses, ocular prosthetics. I'm going to go through the different journey and not settle for the, so the injustice comes from us who are doing that. I hope I answered the question. Thank you.
Any other questions?